I am
my brother's keeper.
My brother's keeper.
I am my sister's keeper.
My sister's keeper too.
I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper.
I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper too.
In this video, we will analyze and scrutinize his interview. He took the words directly from an interview American journalist Jeffrey Mark Goldberg did with Henry Kissinger. The interview was done for The Atlantic magazine on November the 10th of 2016. The title of the interview was Lessons of Henry Kissinger, and the subject of the interview was America's role in world politics. Kissinger states the following. The world is in chaos. Fundamental upheavals are occurring in many parts of the world simultaneously, most of which are governed by disparate principles.
The world is in chaos. There are lots of ripers here and there. Fundamental upheavals are occurring in many parts of the world, governed by contrasting principles.
Kissinger. I am, but I believe in evolutionary stability. I do not believe you can ever maintain the status quo in perpetuity. The challenge, then, is to devise a system in which change can be accommodated without producing chaos.
Can you share your worldview?
I believe in evolutionary stability and natural adaptation. I do not believe anyone can even maintain a status quo eternity every single day. We need to devise a system in which change can be accommodated with empowerment.
Kissinger. Every society that has ever existed in human history has at some point declined. You can be arrogant enough to believe that it cannot happen to you, but you need the humility to recognize the limitations of human foresight. That said, you must have some faith in yourself. Lack of faith in a society is an early symptom of decline.
Every society that has ever existed in human history has to some point faced its decline. We cannot be arrogant enough to believe that it cannot happen to us. However, we need to exercise humility and to recognize the limitations of human foresight.
በቅርቡ የተረጋገጠው የሳይንስ ውጤት የሚያመለክተው ውሃ በተደጋጋሚ ረግመው በምርምር የተገኘ ውጤት ነው። መጨረሻ ግን ሞለኪውል በጣም የተራራቀ የሚያስጠላ ሞለኪውል ሲሆን በአንጻሩ የተመረቀ ወይም ደግሞ ብለስ የተደረገ ውሃ ልክ ጠበል እንደሚባለው ሞለኪውሉ ጥግግቱ የሚያምርና የሚታይ ሆኗል። ሰው 75% ውሃ ነው፣ 6% አፈር ነው፣ 4% እሳት ነው፣ የተቀረው አየር ነው በውስጣችን ያለው። አብዛኛው ፐርሰንት ውሃ በተደጋጋሚ ከምንዘራው ክፉ ቃል የተነሳ ሞለኪውሉ ካንሰር፣ ሞለኪውሉ ጨጓራ፣ ሞለኪውሉ ስኳር እየሆነ ነው።
For the past few months, what I really want to talk to you all about is what he said in regards to the reports of rape and sexual violence being used as a weapon of war in the conflict. Here's a short clip from his address in response to a question about these rapes.
ሰብአዊ መብት ጥሰት የሚሰቃዩ ትግራይ ስላለው ችግር የሚሰቃዩ ሰዎች የሰሜን ዕዝ ጥቃት በሚመለከት ምንም አያነሱ። ሰሜን ዕዝ እንኳን ተጠቀም ተዋረደ። ሴቶች እኮ አሁን በወንድ የተደፈሩት የኛ ወታደሮች ግን በሳንጃ ተደፍረዋል።
For those of you who can't speak Amharic, he basically said while their women might have been raped, our soldiers were stabbed with daggers. Now, in my opinion, this is one of the most disgusting things I've seen a head of state say in my lifetime. I may only be in my early 20s, but Jesus Christ, he basically just equated the mass rape of thousands of women who have nothing to do with the warring parties involved who are actually, fighting this conflict. He compared their rape to the killing of soldiers who sign up to die. Like, I'm sorry, I have respect for all those who decide to go into military service. But as a soldier, you are accepting the real possibility that you will be killed in combat. So to compare this rampant sexual violence against the Tigrayan women, to compare that to killing soldiers who sign up to die in combat is just mind-blowing. For those of you who are going to say, well, he was referring to the soldiers in the Northern Command who were apparently stabbed in their sleep, guys, that narrative has been completely debunked at this point. There's been a ton of evidence that's come out in the past couple of months that indicate the federal government, in collaboration with the Amhara regional government and the Eritrean government, have been planning an invasion of Tigray. The Amhara Regional Police Commissioner flat out admitted in his book that they were amassing militiamen and Amhara Special Forces, or Liyuhayl, at the border with Tigray before the conflict even started. And apparently they were even making arrangements with units loyal to the regional government inside the Ethiopian National Defense Forces to bring tanks and mechanized vehicles to the Amhara forces. Also, Abiy, in an address to Parliament a few months ago, admitted that he scaled up the drone program before the war broke out because he was getting ready for a war against Tigray. And lastly, the involvement of and coordination with the Eritrean troops very early on, like in the first few days of the conflict, indicate that they too were involved on the planning of this war long before the attack on the Northern Command, especially because Tigrayan media outlets were reporting on a troop buildup to the north for a while. We were just told not to believe them because, oh, TPLF lies, TPLF lies, TPLF lies. Well, maybe it's a case of the boy who cried wolf, but they were telling the truth. But lastly, just a week or so before the conflict broke out, Abiy literally tried to install a new general in command of the Northern Command that would be loyal to him, and one can assume that this was pretty much intended to help in preparing the invasion that was going to come. So this was planned. The Tigrayan officials received intelligence of this attack and acted accordingly. They did a preemptive strike. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. Two national armies, Arab drones, and bloodthirsty ethnic militias, all combined, unfortunately, were too much for one region's security forces to handle. But to say what he said today is to essentially rub salt in the wounds of the people of Tigray and the women of Tigray, who again, he refers to here as their women, by the way. We see the use of that word, their, in reference to the people of Tigray again. So I think that gives you an idea of who he believes is Ethiopian and who isn't. But to say that while women are still being raped, all the while having claimed no harm came to a single civilian, that is the most disgusting thing I've seen from a head of state in my young lifetime. Very shocking, very saddening, but those are the words of the Prime Minister of Ethiopia in his address to Parliament today. Thank you for watching.
ኦሮሞ እስኪነሳ ነው እንጂ ሚዳቋ አትበላንም። እኛ ዝሆነን እንሰብራለን፣ እንበላለን፣ እንገላለን። በእጃችን የገባውን ስልጣን ለማንም አሳልፈን አንሰጥም የሚለው የጠቅላይ ሚኒስትሩ የኦሮምኛ ቋንቋ የባሌጎባ ንግግር ሌላ የቅኔ ፍቺ የሌለው ግልጽ መልእክት መሆኑ ሰውየው በሁለት ቋንቋ ላይ የተመሰረተ ተለዋዋጭ ማንነት እንዳላቸው ከማሳየት ውጪ አንዳች ተለዋጭ ምክንያት ሊቀርብበት አይችልም። ከዚህ በታች ተተርጉሞ የቀረበው የጠቅላይ ሚኒስትሩ የኦሮምኛ ንግግር ተረኝነት፣ ቂመኝነትና ስልጣን ናፋቂነትን ከማጋለጥ በዘለለ አዎንታዊ ትርጓሜ ይኖረዋል ተብሎ የሚታሰብ አይደለም። ቤተ መንግስታችንን መታችሁ ለማየት እድል ያላገኛችሁ ሰዎች ከፕሬዝዳንታችሁ ጋር ተመካከሩና ከገዳ አባቶች ጋር ተመካከሩና መታችሁ ይዩት። ቤተ መንግስታችን ባሌን ይመስላል። ባሌ ቤተ መንግስታችንን ይመስላል። ስለ ቤተ መንግስታችን ማውራት የማልፈልገው ኦሮሞ ሰርቶ ያሳያል። ማውራት አዲስ ጸባይ ስለሆነ ይህን አዲስ ጸባይ ወደ ትውልድ ማስተላለፍ ስለማንፈልግ ሰርተን ማሳየት እንፈልጋለን። አሁን ደግሞ ጊዜ የለንም። ወሬ ይበቃናል፣ መከፋፈል ይበቃናል፣ መባላት ይበቃናል። እንደ ባሌ አንድ ሆነን ይህን ቆላማ ቦታ ገነት አድርገን ለዚህ የታገሉትን ቅድም መደወላቡ ላይ ተናግሬዋለሁ። ባሌን መለወጥ መሬት ላይ ብቻ ሳይሆን ገነት ውስጥም ሰማዕቶቻችሁን የሚያስደስት ስለሆነ ይህን መሬት እንለውጣለን። ይህን መሬት እንለውጣለን። ይህን መሬት እንለውጣለን። ቆላችን ገነት ይሆናል። ቄሮአችን ባለስራ ይሆናል። ድህነት ታሪክ ይሆናል። አንድነታችን ይጠናከራል። አንዳችን ለአንዳችን ጉልበት ሆነን ኢትዮጵያን ብቻ ሳይሆን አፍሪካን እንመራለን። ስለዚህ እግዚአብሔር የሰጠንን አእምሮ ተጠቅመን በተግባር በሚታይ ሥራ ሀገር ቀይረን የኦሮሞን ሕዝብ ለማኩራት በልዩ ቆራጥነት ሌት ተቀን እየሰራን ያለን በመሆኑ በዱዓችሁ አትርሱን። እኛ እግዚአብሔር የለም ብለን በራሳችን አለመጠን የምንኩራራም አይደለንም። እግዚአብሔርን እናምናለን፣ በሕዝብ እናምናለን፣ በዱዓ እናምናለን። ከሕዝባችን ጋር እጅ ለእጅ ተያይዘን ሀገራችንን እንለውጣለን። ባለፈው ዓመት ጊኒር ውስጥ ስንዴ አይተናል። ለመጪው ዓመት ደግሞ ይህን ሥራ እናያለን። እንመጣለን፣ እንጠያየቃለን፣ እናሸንፋለን፣ እንሻገራለን፣ እናሻግራለን። ሊያቆመን የሚችል ማንም አይኖርም። ዛሬ እንደሚዳቋ ወዲህና ወዲያ እየሮጠ የሚወራጨውን ይቅርና 27 ዓመት የበላችንን ወያኔ እንኳን በልተን አባረናታል። ኦሮሞ እስኪነቃ ነው እንጂ እስኪነሳ ነው እንጂ ሲነሳ ሚዳቋ አትበላንም። እኛ ዝሆን ነን፣ እንሰብራለን፣ እንበላለን፣ እንገዛለን። ሐሳብ አለን፣ ድርጅት አለን፣ ከዓለም ጋር ግንኙነት አለን። ሕዝባችን በሥራ ያውቀናል። እኛም ሕዝባችንን እናውቃለን፣ ሽማግሌዎቻችንን እናውቃለን። ተያይዘን መላውን አፍሪካን ለመለወጥ ይሄ ዘመን የኛ ስለሆነ ይህን ዘመን የሰጠን እግዚአብሔር በመሆኑ አሳልፈን ሰጥተን ዳግም ወደ ባርነት ለመመለስ አንፈልግም። ያ ደግሞ ተመልሶ አይመጣም። እጃችሁ የገባውን ነገር ጠብቁ፣ ቆጥቡ፣ አጠንክሩ። ጉድለት ወይም ስህተት ካለ ምከሩ።